All right, guys, now before we get into the Q&A, if you want to get some cheap, and I mean very cheap, shark cards that you can use to fund pretty much any DLC, check out G2A in the description and use code BOSS for an extra discount. Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the winner, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be doing another Q&A video where I take your questions from Twitter and I answer them all in this video. Now, in today's Q&A video, we've got lots to go over. Obviously, a bunch of the questions are going to be mainly regarded around the aftermath of the Be My Valentine update in Grand Theft Auto Online, but we're also going to be talking about a few other things like the future of what's to come next and a whole lot more. It's going to be a great Q&A episode, everyone. I can't wait to get it started. Again, if you want to get involved in the next one, go down in the description, follow me on Twitter, and use the hashtag AskBoss if you want to be possibly featured in another video. All right, so let's not waste any more time and let's jump straight into the first question, which comes from Cade Sells, and he says, hashtag AskBoss, what is your favorite part of the Valentine's Day DLC? Okay, so this wasn't a particularly huge DLC that came with a lot of content, and I'd really like to hear from you guys in the comments section down below as well on what your favorite part of the Valentine's Day DLC was. So honestly, my favorite part was getting to do all the live streams that I've done with you guys so far, where I did a massive spending spree, where I pretty much bought all the content that was possible, and also the car show and fashion show that we were able to do with the Roosevelt Valor, and all the new clothing items. So my favorite part wasn't necessarily getting to just enjoy the content by myself, but more sharing it with you guys. This was one of those really fun DLCs that you had to make it fun. Otherwise, I could see it getting really boring if you just tried to enjoy it by yourself. So that's why I love doing live streams and streaming so much when these DLCs do come out, because in the instance of this Be My Valentine update, which didn't really have any game-changing or game-altering content, the most you can really do is just enjoy it with people you like having fun with, which is, of course, you guys. So I had a great time experiencing that with you, but other than that, there wasn't anything too particularly excited that just made me want to, do it on my own. So that's why I did all those streams, and it was just a great time. That's a great segue into our next question, which comes from James Leak, and he says, hashtag AskBoss, is the new Roosevelt really worth it if I have the old one? So once again, this is 100% my opinion here. There is no fact behind this. And it really depends on how much you value pretty much $1 million, because that's what it's going to take to customize this vehicle. Now, I will say that I was slightly disappointed when it comes to what the Roosevelt Valor was in terms of its customization. Now, it had a lot of customization options, but there weren't a ton that really made it cool. Like, for example, one of the upgrade options was like vents on the side of the engine. Another one was like these little tassel things on the hoods that go over the wheels. So while it had a lot of customization, at the end of the day, its performance wasn't necessarily that much better. Its upgrades were really cool, but didn't really set it apart from the Roosevelt. And at the end of the day, it's pretty much the exact same car with just a few more upgrades, but a much more expensive price tag. So if you already have the Albany Roosevelt, the original one, and you really, really like it, and you might not want to spend your money on this, then yeah, you're not missing out on a ton. The new Albany Roosevelt Valor isn't going to be game-changing. You're likely not going to be racing with it in sports classic races. And for me, after this Valentine's Day DLC, I'll probably only rarely take it out on occasion, and it'll probably just be a trophy piece that I ultimately keep in my garage. So for your situation, again, it all depends. If you have the money and you really want it, go for it. But I can totally see why someone might be hesitant and not end up buying this vehicle. Again, that's a great segue into our next question, which comes from Nick Wheeler. He says, has the Roosevelt lost some of its luster now that it has been made a mainstay vehicle? Hashtag AskBoss. Okay, so I got this question a lot, and I saw a ton of threads on Reddit, the GTA forums, about a bunch of Roosevelt people that were really upset that, one, the Roosevelt is staying forever, two, all of the Valentine's Day stuff is coming forever. So that is pretty insane. Rockstar have yet to do that, where they have taken a holiday DLC that was once a temporary DLC and made it into a permanent one. And basically what this means is that now at any time you can choose to buy one of the Roosevelts. And for the longest time, because that vehicle was only available for 2 to 3 weeks in 2014, it was really rare to see one on the streets. So you would have had to save it in one of your car garage spots for the longest time through multiple updates that added new cars. So to really answer your question, Nick, has the Roosevelt lost some of its luster as an extremely rare vehicle? Yeah, it has. There's no denying that. I mean, when something is put back on the shelves and people buy it, it's going to become less rare than when from only a certain portion of the population had it in 2014. Now, obviously, does that make the car any less valuable? No, it just means that more people are going to have it. So if you're a car enthusiast and you really like the fact that it was rare, yes, you might be upset. But hey, maybe now has the opportunity to do some cool things with the Roosevelt, like what I did, which was do really awesome car shows that weren't really possible in the past because so few people have it. So I think it's a good thing, and I also think it's a bad thing if you're on that certain side of the coin that really appreciated the rarity of the car. All right, switching gears a little bit, our next question comes from Mason Rothgeb, and he says, for the next GTA Online DLC, do you think it will be a usual one or a game-changing one like Lowriders 1? Hashtag AskBoss. So I personally think, Mason, that the next DLC for GTA Online is going to be huge. Now, I say that for a few reasons. The first one is we haven't had a big DLC, and I know this is going to sound kind of crazy because it was only in December, since then. So since the Executives and Other Criminals update, we had the Festive Surprise, which was built in to Executives and Other Criminals. We've had the January update, which only brought those 2 new vehicles and a drop zone. And now we've gotten the Valentine's Day DLC, which again was a very, very small DLC that was packaged in that update. So it's going to be, by the time we roll around to the next update period, about 60 to 90 days since we've had a really epic, huge DLC. So yeah, I think the next Grand Theft Auto Online DLC is going to be a pretty big game-changing one. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be Lowriders Part 2 or if it's going to be something different, but I expect it to be in that scale of a pretty big DLC, which is something that I am definitely very excited for. Our next question comes from Matteo DePace, and he says, hashtag AskBoss, what do you think the future of Benny's Original Motorworks will be like, e.g. every second update Rockstar adds a new car? So yeah, that kind of does make sense. Benny's has been added since Lowriders. We had Executives and Other Criminals, which didn't add any Benny's vehicles. And then we got the 2 new vehicles from the January update. So I wouldn't call it a theme or a pattern as of yet, because it was Lowriders, which was the original one, and then a break, and then they added 2 new ones. But that would certainly be cool if Rockstar every now and then just added like new sports cars or whatever vehicles that could be added in Benny's Original Motorworks. I think that would be awesome. So again, I think your theory is not crazy to think that they could be doing it every 2 updates. And I would certainly love the addition of those new sports cars that could be tuned and upgraded in Benny's Original Motorworks. All right, this next question is really interesting. It comes from Expert Gamer, and he says, hashtag AskBoss, do you think those leaks about map expansion and 10 new supercars may be the last update until GTA 6 comes out? So let me explain that for you guys. Since I really only made one video, I debunked it, I told you it was fake. That's a really interesting story. So the admins and the moderators on the Grand Theft Auto Forums website, they created a fake DLC in order to trick YouTubers into like saying and coming out and confirming that it was real. So essentially, they sold out members on their own website. They tricked them, misled them, and deceived them in hopes that YouTubers would make videos confirming that suspicious update. Now, as you probably saw, I did make a video on the content, mainly to explain it to you guys, to debunk it, and at the end of the video, I ultimately said it was fake. And of course, at the beginning, I said it was never confirmed, just leaked content that could possibly be coming. So all of it was a hoax, all of it was a fake. That entire website misled the community and their own forum members just to try to trick people. So it was unfortunately a hoax, which is a shame because it did sound so cool. You know, Las Venturas, getting a new casino, all these new supercars and helicopters. It could have been pretty awesome, but instead it was just a bunch of guys just trying to trick and troll the community, which is a shame that we have people like that, but it happens. Our next question comes from Cold Pillows, and he says, do you think we will ever receive an item in GTA Online worth more than $10 million? Cold Pillows, I sure hope we do not. The only thing we have relatively close to $10 million is the yacht, which I guess you could consider it worth it, considering like what the yacht actually does for you, and also the Luxor Deluxe, which is a golden airplane that is not worth it at all. So unless like the only way to get into the casino is $10 million, that's like the only thing I would see it. Or maybe down the line, like standalone mansions, like the size of the Playboy Mansion. That's the only thing I could see be willing to pay $10 million plus for. Other than that, that's just way too insane. If you think about it, $10 million in Grand Theft Auto money is about $120 of your real life cash. So that is way expensive for a video game. So I certainly hope they don't ever reach the $10 million threshold. All right, and our final question comes from PR4Teak9, and he says, hashtag AskBoss, what thing would you like to remove from GTA 5? Now, I'm not sure if he's talking about GTA 5 or GTA Online, and I wouldn't remove anything tangible. I would simply remove all the barriers that Rockstar have put up. And what I mean by barriers is like, you're not allowed to have a sandbox mode in GTA Online. You're not allowed to go into interiors. Like, you can't even go into Cluck and Bell or like Burger Shot. So just the simple barriers that Rockstar have placed in online, I would like to see removed because I think there's a ton of potential here. And I think Rockstar is just trying to be careful and playing their cards close to the vest. And they don't want to have all of these different things unlocked. So unfortunately, that's the way they're going about it. They're playing it safe. So I would really just wish they would take the training wheels off and try to unlock the full potential that is GTA Online. But anyways, that's all the questions that I'm going to be answering in this week's Q&A. Hopefully you did enjoy. Once again, if you want to get involved in the next one, all you have to do is go down in the description, follow me on Twitter, and use the hashtag AskBoss whenever I'm doing a Q&A session, and you might just find yourself featured in the next video. If you did go on to enjoy, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.